as recently as 2 weeks ago, I think it was, Larry Fink, who heads up one of the biggest asset managers in the world, has made an appeal to all CEOs to present their long-term visions of a company. So I just round that off by saying that my experience of international shareholders is that they're generally longer-term holders than local ones.
It's true.
So just, this notion of short-termism, I think, is not entirely true. I think that if one conveys to shareholders the picture of where one is going, then I think, and delivers on it, I think that you do get valued properly as a company.
Mark is absolutely right. Internationally, people do have a slightly different view, but the reality is, if you have what you call patient capital, owner capital, it's often a lot more. This is not universally so, but often a lot more patient than people who need to prove returns. We need to change the dialogue. We need to value long-termism. Mark's absolutely right in that word. I just don't think it's done enough.
Anyone who has run a company in South Africa will attest to the fact that if for whatever reason you don't perform well in a given year, you get punished. If you have a number of far-sighted institutional investors, they are not going to actually change at whim simply because in a given quarter or in a given year you have not performed well. They will look at your long-term planning. They look also at whether or not you behave in a manner that is wholesome as a leader, not just a manager. They'll look at whether or not you actually lead in a manner that is predicated on a value system that they can subscribe to. They'll look at whether or not you have a sense of destiny, even as a chairman or as a chief executive. A sense of destiny that says, I am here to make a positive difference. That's where ethics comes in. I am here to make a positive difference long range. They will actually invest in you a lot more comfortably if they come to believe that you think generationally.
Just to touch on a point that Reuel makes, if a CEO believes that the share price determines the value of the company, or is the value of the company, I think that's a bad starting point. So the company has a societal value. It has a societal footprint, and that cuts across a whole lot of areas. And I think this is where an ethical perspective comes in. The question is, how is the company dealing with its employees? How is it dealing with its clients? One of the if you want to call it mantras that pervades our business is, when thinking about a customer or an employee, err in their favor. Now that's almost an ethical statement. Another one is good news can travel fast, bad news must travel fast. So how does a leader implement this in the business? I think it's through the leader's own behavior, through the messages that the leader gives into the business, and through the kind of culture that develops over time. And the culture isn't a set of rules, it's the way we interact with each other. And I think that can be tested and questioned at every level.